and welcome to a special prime sports coverage of Copa America 1995. I am Jose Pepe Mantilla, bringing you this exciting game between the United States of America and Argentina. The Copa America is the oldest tournament of the most popular sport in the world, soccer, or as it is known in the rest of the world, football. The U.S. last played in Uruguay in 1930. Now, 65 years later, the U.S. returns to this small South American country to play in its second Copa America.
As the United States, dressed in their road blue uniforms, taking on the blue and white stripes of Argentina. Give you a check on the starting lineups in just a little bit, but quickly the U.S. countering. Thomas Dooley into the middle. Opportunity near the spot. Ball still loose, and the shot deflected away, and the U.S. turning the pressure as the shot pushed wide. In the goal, Carlos Bacios in his first action, and seconds into the... have turned the pressure up. Only the fingertips of Bacio perhaps preventing that from finding the net. Here you see Joe McMoore getting the start, pushing the ball back, and the quick shot from John Harkes just outside the long corner, headed clear by Argentina. This game coming to you from Artigas Monumental Stadium in Paysandú, an Argentinian border town. Obviously, they love the stripes of Argentina, but they have taken to the U.S. squad. The U.S. team, which has stayed in town, done its shopping, done its walking, its sightseeing, all in the heart of Paysandú, and they seem to have taken a liking to the guys from the red, white, and blue. Frank Lopez once again getting the start. This is a very dangerous situation. Alexi Lalas near the top of the box, along with Thomas Dooley and Paul Caligiuri, trying to see what the Argentinian defense will do. The left foot in towards the spot, headed clear. And out of bounds, it will be a throw-in for the United States. And a little bit of a surprise, a lot of substitutes in the lineup for Argentina. But a little surprise that the U.S. is putting some high pressure on the Argentinians. Curling pass in towards the area, deflected away, but still the U.S. keeping the pressure until a foul gives Argentina a free kick about 30 yards away. Former U.S. coach Emilio
contra los dos, contra Balbo y Batistuta. Pero por otro lado, estoy seguro que los jugadores de Estados Unidos van a hacer todo posible de salir con un buen resultado y así calificarse para la próxima vuelta. Sería un maravilloso resultado para jugadores de Estados Unidos y su entrenador Steve Sass.
Coach Milutinovic saying there that he's quite confident that United States players are going to go out and play this game to try to get a good result. And I'm sure that if they achieve that, it'll be a great moment for U.S. soccer and for Steve Sampson.
Hard foul by Thomas Dooley as the U.S. trying to lay down the groundwork. Gabriel Schur playing defense. Once again, Roberto Ayala, the youngster from River Plate, drawing 2 yellow cards in the first 2 games, meaning he has to sit out the long pass up in front. Intended for sure on the overlap, goes over the end line. It will be a goal kick for the United States. They're the man in the middle of the controversy and the pipes, Casey Keller. A lot of criticism towards Bora for not including Casey on the 1994 World Cup team. He has been one of the MVPs for his club, Millwall, in the English First Division, the past 2 years. And he has played lights out so far in Copa America. Solid performance in the Americans' first game. A rather surprising 2-1 win against Chile, and the only blemish against him in that particular contest, a lightning shot from about 7 yards out of Sebastian Rosenthal of Chile, split through the defense. Keller also in goal in that 4-0 rather historic win against Mexico less than a month ago. This is the final game in the first round in Group C. In fact, the final game in the first round overall. Uruguay, Paraguay, Mexico have all advanced from Group A. Brazil and Colombia from Group B. Argentina has already clinched a spot, but right now Ecuador in Group B, the United States and Bolivia all having an opportunity, and in fact the Bolivians with that tie earlier on also advancing. The U.S. with a victory or a tie would advance. A 1-goal loss would put them in the enviable situation of advancing on a coin flip. Perico, Hugo Perez, the 26-year-old who will be playing his ball in Spain next year after playing for Independiente in Argentina for the past season. The familiar figure of Alexi Lalas knocking it back. Cleared out off of Jones, or off of Batistuta, it looked like. Casey Keller coming out of the box. Marcelo Balboa caught by surprise. While there might be a number of substitutes on for Argentina, the dangerous force of Gabriel Batistuta still in the lineup. Kobe Jones tries to track it down. Even his speed cannot catch up as the ball goes over the end line for a goal kick.
One thing we noticed right off the bat with the United States lineup, with no disrespect to Mike Sorber, we have starting in the midfield in the center, Julian Harks. You have two very experienced players that hopefully will keep the balance in the midfield and help stop what Argentina does best, and that is penetrate and try to attack down the middle of the field.
Once again, a rather expected lineup, perhaps except for one thing, is still on the bench. Claudio Reyna, the youngster who represents the future of U.S. soccer, according to many, has found a hard time breaking into this lineup. Joe Max Moore getting the call up front along with Eric Winalda for the U.S. today. Working our way back through the midfield. Ernie Stewart and Kobe Jones on the outside, and Thomas Dooley playing a central midfield role really in this particular formation, along with Johnny Harks on the defensive side. That defensive ball, Mike Burns on the right side, Paul Caligiuri on the left, and in the middle, Alexi Lalas and Marcelo Balboa. Casey Keller in the goal, and he has been tested already. But the U.S. early on with some solid offensive play. Nice move by John Harks to find himself free. Lifted towards the near side. Marcelo Espina can't get up to it before Paul Caligiuri can. Caligiuri pushing it forward. Stolen away by the Argentines.
No problem.
Ayala is in there, near side. Batistuta from anywhere he is dangerous, and you can obviously tell the respect Thomas Dooley gave him. Slide tackle with both. Here's an opportunity. Top of the box, push down inside. Lalas on the foul, but they'll say play on. The U.S. narrowly avoiding a penalty kick, and the crowd not liking it. Perez picking the pocket of Lalas near the midfield stripe. Near side, Espina looking for the return pass. Wearing the captain's armband today. 28-year-old from Colo Colo in Chile. Pass towards the penalty spot. Deflected and batted away by the U.S. And here comes Eric Winalda. He who scored 2 goals against Chile, but quickly just a little too much on it. Esther Fabry also in. They'll swing it around to the right side. The U.S. has held their own here in the early going. As we mentioned, Argentina's last time out, 2 minutes in, they were already on the board. Opportunity. Perez fires the shot. Deflected by Keller. Batistuta in the middle, and it's cleared away. Keller with a brilliant save, leaving it for Batistuta. He elects not to shoot, to send it across the middle.
And Keller
cleared away by the defense.
And Keller doing a good job there after making the initial save, getting back up and closing the angle down here for Batistuta.
Taken down. One of the U.S. players on the near side. Looks like it might be Marcelo Balboa. Paul Caligiuri playing in his 100th game for the national team. Frank Klopas in the midfield. And it looks like they will stop the clock to attend to the injured player. And it is Cello, and he's grabbing his right side. Thank goodness it's not the knee. He spent nearly a year out with major reconstruction. That man, Gabriel Batistuta, looking for the lead in goal scoring. Just one behind Luis Garcia of Mexico. Scored 2 goals against Chile. He could have scored many, many more. Don't be too concerned by the stretcher. What the officials have done is if a player is injured, get him off the field, get him treated, and get the game back underway as quickly as possible. The stretcher just a precautionary measure. The Fiorentina star moving them back up into Serie A in Italy. The leading goal scorer in the Italian First Division. Dangerous whenever he's on the field. Slight change to the U.S. lineup. The U.S. needing goal, at least one goal. That would give them a little bit of breathing room in their effort to break the tiebreaker against Ecuador. Since the play stopped, they'll just do the drop ball, and the Argentines do the gentlemanly thing and kick it back to the U.S., drawing a round of applause from the crowd. But Mike Burns is not in the starting lineup. The 24-year-old defender from New England on the bench. Frank Klopas in the midfield. Apparently, the United States going with a three-man defense. Talk about Steve Sampson having some guts against the firepower of Argentina. Klopas apparently playing an offensive midfield role in front of Thomas Dooley, trying to feed Joe Max Moore and Eric Ronaldo, who will also see a lot of time on the wing. Dangerous move, perhaps, by Sampson, but to this point, the U.S. has held their own offensively. Hard tackled by Moore, and they will call the foul.
I think here Sampson may be counting on also the fact that he has a player as Harks and Dooley, who both played their share of defense during their careers. So you're really getting 5 players that have experience in defense.
Long pass up in front towards the box. Lawless hanging and shoving, but no whistle. Casey Keller, no problem. Keller, at the age of 25, is already a veteran of the English First Division. Millwall have been offered millions for his services and have elected to hold on. Foul called as Harks is tripped. They'll start over, and a little word of warning from the official against the Argentines. Marcio Rezende, the man in the middle, dressed in, you used to be able to say dressed in black, but it could be fuchsia, could be yellow, could be green, anything nowadays. But the Brazilian is the referee tonight. And to this point, he has had a physical game to call, but we have not seen any yellows. We have seen a lot of fouls and an opportunity for the Argentinians. Pulling it back towards his right side. Acosta pushed down. Keller pushing it wide, and the U.S. trying to get back upfield. Casey Keller might not be a save, but somehow manages to keep control of that box, maintaining perfect composure as Eric Ronaldo knocked down the midfield. Here you see Marcelo Balboa turned around the deflection, coming back to Acosta, and Keller out quickly.
There we saw Caligari doing something very good. Balboa stood Acosta up. Meanwhile, Caligari was able to apply pressure and knock the ball loose from behind without creating the foul.
Long push up front. U.S. trying to get back to that offensive start that they had. Frank Klopas surrendering the throw as it went off of a U.S. player. Argentina will have it just shy of midfield. Dooley back, dropping it to Keller. He'll boot it out of danger. Once again, off of his own defender. Can't pick it up with his hand. The U.S. getting a little bit of a fortunate bounce, and Marcelo Balboa sends it to the inside of Harks, who wasn't quite expecting it. Picked off by Spina. 28-year-old midfielder bangs it off of Cello. Coming out with it, Paul Caligiuri. Seems as though there's no true sweeper either. It seems as though they're all taking turns in the middle. Caligiuri having a rather solid game at this point. Lifted in by Klopas, a little too high. Dropping back Johnny Harks as he watches Escudero sending it up to the right side. Up the line, intended for Acosta. The U.S. John Harks sliding, can't quite get it. They'll pass it off. Here's Gallardo, the youngster, lifting it into the area. A handball off of Acosta, and they will call it. Does a card follow? Trying to test it. The ball just a little out of reach, and the U.S. will get a free kick.
I think we should keep our eye on Marcelo Balboa. During that sequence, it seems to be that he's still suffering from the effects of that one foul. He seems to be limping a bit. We'd like to see how that develops over the next 5 minutes.
That could be a problem, especially with only 3 defenders. Hard tackle, but play on the Argentinians pushing it forward. Double team, but Batistuta is left wide open. Has it on the right foot. The curling shot just past the near post.
And I think we've already seen that the United States have made a tactical change. See, Dooley's already playing in the back. They've pushed Balboa up to see if he's going to recover from what may be still the lingering effects of that injury. So it'll be interesting how that develops.
The Argentinian lineup: in goal, Carlos Bazio, the 21-year-old Estudiantes. In Argentina, Hugo Perez. Perico entering the defensive side of the midfield is almost a diamond 4 in the midfield for Daniel Passarella's Argentinians. The 4 men in defense, Roberto Ayala, Ricardo Altamirano, Esther Fabri anchoring the interior, and Gabriel Schur also there. Up in front, the top of the diamond, you might say, Marcelo Gallardo, the 19-year-old for River Plate. Still scoreless, about 15 minutes in. The United States has passed the first test, but a hard tackle, and this one will draw a card. A little too hard for Frank Lopez. Coming in with both cleats up, and Frank is in the books. Not in the scoring column, though. 15 minutes in, the United States drawing its first card, and they cannot afford to go a man down against this team. Marcelo Balboa, as you mentioned, still limping, and is heading over to the sideline to seek a little bit more treatment. This would be a serious blow to the U.S. hopes, because not only is he one of the anchors on defense along with Alexi Lawless, but Mike Lawless, one of the offensive threats on set plays, both with that bicycle kick, which narrowly missed in the World Cup, and also with the bicycle kick earlier on that narrowly missed here in Copa America. And apparently that injury just a little too much. It looks like Marcelo Balboa coming off, and onto the pitch, Mike Burns. Burns is more of an outside back and actually a true defensive midfielder. The long curling pass headed clear. Might be interesting to see if they drop Dooley back, or perhaps Hart back to right back and go with a standard 4-man back. But at this particular point, the United States has lost one of its leaders. The man who leads in caps. This would have been his 105th.
What that does also is putting Dooley back in the sweeper position, which looked like he might play. Now you're playing with 2 completely different people at the center mid position, because Sorver's not there. Now Dooley's not there. So it does mix up the line for the United States. Also, let's not forget that Marcelo Balboa was playing with a little bit more added incentive this game. He's playing against his father's homeland. So I think that's a tremendous blow to both Marcelo Balboa and the United States.
He does get the cap. He won't get an opportunity for heroics, however, unless these 2 teams meet again a little further on. And for that to happen, the U.S. needs a goal. Lopez tries to dribble through 2, gets past 1, but loses it. Rico taking it away. And now the pass towards the far side, Ricardo Altamirano. Altamirano slows it down, curls it into the area, over Batistuta, trying to get it to Acosta, and is cleared away by the U.S. defense, but still not out of danger. Back into dangerous territory, Gallardo, however, cleared away by U.S., and now the Argentinians will withdraw slightly, giving Paul Caligiuri some breathing room. Finishing out the lineup, the 2 men more on the flanks for the Argentinians, Marcelo Escudero and Marcelo Espina. Up front, Gabriel Batistuta and Alberto Acosta, the 28-year-old who plays his professional ball in Chile. Lopez very active in the midfield. He'll drop it back to Dooley, as you mentioned, more defensive role, as John Hart seems to assume the offensive midfield. Take it down hard, but play on. This could be a physical match. Kobe Jones is tripped up as he tries to move past Javier Zanetti, and that will be a card. Jones using his speed. Zanetti or Schur, and it was Schur. The 23-year-old in the books. You hear the voice of Steve Sampson yelling instructions from the sideline. The pass up front to Inalda. He'll try and drop it back, letting it run on. Frank Lopez. He'll pick it back up near midfield, pushed and shoved. Physical game without a doubt against these Argentinians, and here's a chance. Lopez dribbling through and towards the top of the box. He's taken down by Ayala. This will be a free kick. Dangerous territory, and Eric Winaldo already sizing it up. Lopez dribbling through. Might not have been the smartest play. Good movement, good mobility by Lopez as he narrowly broke into the box all alone.
Well, Lopez, you got to remember, is a very experienced player. He's played in many different leagues. He's played also in Greece. He sees that no one's coming up to pressure him, so he's going to keep going upfield, and he knows that the closer he's going to get to the box, the chances of him getting fouled are greater. So I think it was a very courageous run there by Frank Lopez, and now the United States has a very good chance of scoring here, of course, with the now world-famous Eric Winaldo free kick show.
Lopez up limping a little bit when Aldo scored from nearly this location earlier. His 2nd goal of the game against Chile, and a nearly identical situation to score in the World Cup against Switzerland. Standing by Joe McLemore, but he is most likely window dressing on this. Ronaldo steps forward, curls in. It's off the top of the head of one of the men in the wall and cleared over the end line. A little too low on it, but it will be a corner kick for the U.S. Their first of the game. Winalda knows he could have done a little bit better on that one. Most likely, and yes, indeed, it is John Harks, the New Jersey native. Plays for Derby professionally, right now wearing the colors of the US of A. Curled in towards the top of the area, headed clear. Ayala got a head on it, tracking it down Ernie Stewart to knock it back to Harksy. Harks sends it into the area, dangerous opportunity. Chest down, Kobe Jones. Jones loses control. Shot by Clopas is a goal! Frank Clopas scores! Kobe Jones forces it free, and the U.S. has taken the lead. Frank Clopas from 17 yards out.
And this has got to be exactly what Steve Sampson was hoping for to happen.
Kobe Jones keeping it alive. The deflection off of Jones and straight to Clopas for the one-time shot. Without a doubt, one of the biggest goals in U.S. history.
What this goal does, Phil, is two things. Number one, it changes the pace of the game. Now it's very clear what both teams have to do, but more importantly, it gives the American team the confidence that, hey, we belong on this field with the Argentine team.
Renato, part of the U.S. national team, assisting Bora Milutinovic in the last World Cup, and you know Frank Clopas one-on-one, and you also know the criticism he has drawn. And I guarantee you, when the starting lineup was announced in this game, and Claudio Reyna was on the bench and Frank Clopas was on the pitch, a lot of U.S. fans were questioning head coach Steve Sampson, but right now Frank Clopas paying off his pace.
Well, you have to also remember that Frank Clopas, 2 years removed from the World Cup, was the attacking midfielder for AEK in Greece when they won the Greek First Division. So he's a very experienced player. He knows what to do, and that's definitely an experienced player that Steve Sampson's putting on the field.
And as we saw, that experience paying off. It's similar, I guess you'd say, to basketball. When the ball comes in the middle of the center, don't put it on the court. Just take the shot from there, and Clopas did not try and trap and get a better shot, just blasted it towards goal. And the 28-year-old who's back in Greece playing for Apollon, without a doubt, scores one of the biggest goals in his career. Gallardo and Batistuta. 9 substitutes in the starting lineup with the rumor for Argentina, and it is very close to that when you take a look at the starting lineup. But that man right there, Gabriel Batistuta, can score from anywhere on the field. A 3-man wall. The shot bangs right out the middle. Looks like it came off Johnny Harks, who continues to push forward. Came in cleats high. They'll play on. Altamirano is up in the U.S. with Frank Clopas, curling it into the middle of the park. Sure, knocking it back, and here's another opportunity for the Argentines, but the physical play of the U.S. Winalda coming all the way back into midfield. Pass to the near side, the U.S. pressuring the Argentines.
Drop behind, Kobe.
Here, Steve Sampson yelling instructions right now. We mentioned that the one goal, very important for the U.S. as they draw a foul. It'll be a free kick near midfield. Retrieving the ball, Alberto Acosta. The way things stand, with the tie Bolivia and Chile, that gives Bolivia 4 points. That moves them ahead of the U.S. temporarily. The U.S. will be in this position of fighting for third place. The 2 best third-place teams move on to the quarterfinals, as Argentina once again has an opportunity. Marcelo Espina sending it down near the corner. Gallardo playing on the near side. Gallardo spins it back to the left foot. A curving, dipping shot. Cleared away briefly, but still back in pressure by Perez. Perez sends it down the flank. Long, curling cross towards the middle. Dooley knocked down. He might be hurt. Sent back in. The Argentinian pressure is now turned up to full speed. His numbers, and pushed wide by Keller. Dooley is down on the turf. 3 men unmarked in the Argentinian colors. And somehow Casey Keller pushes it wide. Gabriel Batistuta on the shot. And it looks as though Thomas Dooley might have taken one in the ribs. A beautiful curling cross. It could have been offsides, but play on. Thigh down, and Batistuta dead on target, and Casey Keller comes up big yet again.
In these type of game now, even though Argentina is obviously the more experienced team, we have experienced players that know what to do in these situations. Casey Keller, Thomas Dooley, John Harks. These are all players that have had tough games under their belt during their career. So I have a lot of confidence that the United States will know what to do in this type of situation.
As you can hear the Argentinian faithful out in numbers to support their team. 1 goal is nothing when you take on the Argentinians, but it has to be a huge lift to the guys dressed in blue. Cross towards the middle. Batistuta is there again. Gets ahead on it. Can't get the shot, but Gallardo sends it sky high over the bar. Quick look at that U.S. experience that has been garnered of late. You take a look at the Argentines, defending champs of the Copa America, expected to do much better at the World Cup, just concluded before the injury to Tunisia and the suspension of Maradona. But you take a look at this team. This is still a relatively young team. No players over 30. 6 of them are under 23. 12 of them are foreign-based. You take a look at the U.S. We're starting to get more and more of that foreign experience. There are 323 players in this team. However, at this particular point, they are all on the bench. 3 over 30 players on this team, and 20 of the 22 members on this roster play their professional football overseas. And that's the experience you can only get from doing.
No matter how good a coach you may have, there's something that you cannot replace, and that is quality experience, and that's what a lot of our players have playing abroad now.
Acosta has his pocket picked by Winald, coming back on defense. Once again, a hard-charging number 11. Hard tackle by Wallace from behind, and that should draw a card. Batistuta. And as we mentioned, even 30 yards away from goal, he is dangerous, and those two have met a number of times. Wallace playing in Padova, one of the doormats of Italian soccer until his arrival. Nice try to slide it through.
Well, see, that's one of the good things for playing for a doormat. You know you're going to get a lot of experience.
And Padova, with his defensive help, staying in Serie A, staying in the first division, and that is a huge accomplishment. Another foul against the United States. Lining up, Altamirano. He'll curl it in toward the area. Dooley getting it back, and Harks sending it out. Be very interesting to see what Thomas Dooley's situation is. They've already had to replace Marcelo Balboa. Balboa out early with a hard tackle. Dooley apparently taking a kick or a ball straight in the gut. Had a hard time collecting his breath. Losing those two players in the middle of the defense would be probably an irrecoverable blow. To this point, the U.S. is in the lead. Kobe Jones slipping in once again. It is the middle of winter right now in Uruguay. There has been a lot of rain. And without a doubt, there's probably dew starting to form on the field right now. It will probably be very treacherous footing as the night wears on. Finishing up with the standings and the situation, Mexico with 4 points in third place in Group A has already clinched a quarterfinal berth. Ecuador stands with 3 points in Group B. The United States at this point with 3 points in Group C. And getting an early lead right now has got to help, because a 2-1 loss to Argentina, which basically means they can give up 2 goals right now, would still be enough to move the U.S. into the second round. Hard foul against Harks, as the U.S. has compiled 8 of them in the first half, and the Argentinians, normally the team on the giving end of the physical play, have only had 4.
One thing we like seeing here is every time there's a little incident, Harks is getting right in the middle of it. He's wearing the captain's band today, and he's really providing some good leadership for the United States.
Yellow card so far. Clopas and Wallace on the U.S. shirt. For Argentina, you see Marcelo Espino wearing the yellow or the black armband, signifying the captaincy. For Argentina, play on as Wallace once again hacking at the heels of Batistuta. Joe Max Moore receiving encouragement from Steve Sampson, tries to slide it into space. Clopas a little bit too close. Didn't quite give an angle for a pass, but the U.S. right now, with a 1-0 lead, can afford a few mistakes. Wallace all the way out near midfield. Bounding it forward to Harks, the bad pass, but hard recovery. As he moves forward, tries to back heel, double team, takes down the man, and it looks like Schur looking for a little bit, and in fact he will draw. Along with the best acting actor, he will also get a yellow card on John Harks, the third against the U.S., but once again, from this point on, it will not accumulate. You'll start fresh in the first game of the quarterfinals, which will start on Sunday. Headed down, cleared away. Alagiri all the way back to Perez. Perez takes a tumble. You can see the fog perhaps starting to drop on Paysandu. The Argentinian frontier down. Opportunity Winalda trying to pressure. Beautiful move, however. And the Argentinians turn it the other direction. Cleared across the touchline. Throw in for Argentina. Stepping up to take it, Nestor Fabri. 27-year-old from Boca Juniors. Rock solid in the middle of that defense, but did not get the starting call early on. Another foul against the United States.
One thing we're seeing right now is a lot of play down the near side of the field for both teams. The left side of the field used very little.
Cross into the middle of the area. Headed clear by the two men there. It has to be a little dangerous for Steve Sampson as he saw two striped jerseys right around as well. This game being brought to you by AT&T. Quality, service, savings, and experience. AT&T, your true choice. Ricardo Altamirano, 29-year-old for River Plate. Lifted down the far side. Caligiuri laying it off. Ernie Stewart coming back on defense. He has Frank Clopes, the goal scorer, on the inside. Draws a fist to the head. It will be a foul against the Argentines. Ernie Stewart perhaps trying to draw a card, but at the same point, seems like he's just trying to get his bearings back. A 1-0 lead is about to be the biggest gift Steve Sampson has ever received, and it was a hard-fought gift as the U.S. has a little bit of breathing room right now. Another hack across the heels, another foul against the Argentines. Eric Winalda.
I think the biggest thing that one goal gives them is the fact that it just gives them a tremendous amount of confidence. They are here to play, and they're not just here to hopefully get a tie or lose 1-0. They're actually trying to get out a favorable result.
Winalda curling it all the way to the far side. That's Kobe Jones. Kobe Jones manned 1-on-1. The cross into the middle of the area. It's a goal! It's a goal! Lawless takes it in inside the goal area, and the U.S. leads 2-0. Kobe Jones breaks down his man, sends the ball across. Bazio did not expect the hard-charging Lawless, who flicks it into the net. Alexi Lawless tucks it in, and the U.S. leads 2-0.
Once again, we see here something very impressive by the Americans. They had 4 people waiting to finish that cross. They are definitely getting people inside the box. One thing you cannot coach, and that is speed, which is a lot what Kobe Jones has. 2-0 for the United States. This makes it for a very interesting game for the Argentinians.
22 minutes gone, just about 13 left to go. Another happy midfield. They'll still play on. John Harkes, Thomas Dooley, back to Harkes. Winalda lets it ride. Picked off by Acosta. That is good on the far side. He has it on the right foot. The deflected shot. Casey Keller is there at the edge of the area. Once again, we talked about this earlier when we watched the U.S. play Chile. The United States defense might not be the most solid in the world, but for some reason when Casey Keller starts, it seems as though everything comes together.
Well, I think the defenders feel confident that they have someone with experience in the back. Not to take anything away from the previous goalkeepers, but Casey Keller does bring some 3 years of experience in a very competitive league.
Ronaldo drops it back to Kobe Jones. By the way, speaking of the U.S.'s other starting goalkeeper, because at this point it's an alternating role, but a victory against Argentina might change that. Brad Friedel, though, a rich young man, if he can just get the English to agree. Remember the problem he had hooking up with Newcastle earlier on. Ended up finally signing with Bromby as the crowd goes wild. Another hard tackle near midfield by the U.S. Another Argentina is down on the turf. But Friedel will finally get his chance to play in England if all things work out. A $650,000 transfer to Sunderland, the first division, a team that had been in the Premier League just a couple of years ago.
I think it's going to provide a great opportunity for Brad if he can get that contract, because he is a very talented keeper. And once again, he's only 24 years old. He's easily 3-4 years away from achieving his prime.
Adestuta on the right foot, spin past Caligiuri. Fires the shot at Wallace there to block it wide. Hard tackle. Copa is taken down. Ernie Stewart overruns, but comes back to pick the pocket of Escudero and turns back upfield down the left flank. It's inside, almost trips over the ball, and finally pushed off it by Hugo Perez. Stewart still down. They'll send it back up. Lawless slips. Batistuta there. 2 men back. Batistuta. And is taken off his foot by Paul Caligiuri. His 100th game with Marcelo Balboa on the bench. A lot will be asked of that man, number 20. Steve Sampson. Somewhat a facetious edict given by Hank Steinbrecher, the man playing a lot of the shots for U.S. Soccer. Gallardo sending it into space and perhaps a little too much on it. Acosta can't get it. But after his inaugural success in the U.S. Cup, a 3-2 victory over Nigeria, and a solid first half of play against Mexico, a game the U.S. would eventually win by a score of 4-0. Steinbrecher was asked, what about Steve Sampson? This is after they were looking after Carlos Queiroz, the Portuguese coach in Lisbon. Also looking after Carlos Pereira, the mentor, as the foul goes against Argentina, the world champion Brazilians. Both coaches, for one reason or another, had turned down the job. And Steinbrecher said, well, if he goes, let's see, we got the U.S. Cup, a couple more games left to go. We're guaranteed at least 3 games in the Copa America. 6 games. Say he goes 5-1, maybe 4-1-1. We'll give him the job. We'll have to give him the job. Well, if the U.S. holds on to this 2-goal lead, 4-1-1, and Hank will probably rather have given him the contract to sign at that point, because they'll probably need to be maybe 1 more 0 or so at the end of it this time around.
Well, the most convincing argument for Steve Sampson is the results he's achieved. So,
push down, play on. Altamirano sends it into the area. High up, Acosta can't turn it on goal, and Batistuta pushes aside Kobe Jones to send it back to the middle. Here's an opportunity for Spina, and a curling shot grabbed by Keller on the doorstep.
And that's one thing we're going to see a lot of by Argentina, taking the shots. And that is one thing I think that we feel very confident with Casey Keller is you don't expect him to make big mistakes. He's a very big goalkeeper. So beating him from far away with shots like that, they're going to have to be right on target for them to get past Casey.
And the Argentinian captain denied. It's 2-0. We talked about some of the other results. For example, the victory against England, which for all intents and purposes changed the coaches in England. The 4-0 win that almost did the same in Mexico and still might. This would be one that I guarantee you people around the world would figure the guy typing it in reversed. 2-0 U.S. Ayala traps it on the Argentinian side of midfield. Much of the play has been in the midfield towards the U.S. goal. When the U.S. has gone forward, they have been dangerous. Pushed into space, an opportunity for Batistuta beating the trap, and shoots it over the bar.
We have already seen Batistuta twice this half miss opportunities that under most circumstances he would put away, this being one of them.
Casey Keller appeared to have the angle covered. The shot had come low. Batistuta trying to reach it over him. Did have a dip on it, but not enough to tuck it under the bar and into the goal. The U.S. continues to lead 2-0 as the Argentinians cheer on. Once again, many of the Uruguayans in attendance have somewhat adopted this U.S. squad. And I guarantee you the style of soccer that's being played, hard fought though it may be, some of the most entertaining that's been played so far in this cup.
Quite frankly, the Uruguayans would have adopted any team that's playing against Argentina today.
The man in the middle, the golden boot for Serie A in Italy, Gabriel Batistuta. It's not over until the final whistle blows with him in the game. Harks. One of the New Jersey connection, dropping it back to Burns, the substitute. Balboa pushing it back across to Harks. Harks, the left-footed shot, slams off the back of Fabry and out towards the far side. Ernie Stewart tracking it down, Winalda behind, cuts into the area, the right-footed shot, blocked away. Baggio gets the boot on it, sending it back upfield for Batistuta, who's dropped way back in the Argentinian midfield. And here's an opportunity as Lala's pushing forward. They'll send it down the flank. Escudero cannot get there before Caligiuri does. A 3-man defense for Steve Sampson. And once again, the biggest difference between he and his predecessor, his mentor perhaps, Bora, very solid defensive coach, realizing the limitations perhaps of the teams he coached. Steve Sampson does not have the type of personality, a very aggressive personality, and even the lineup here he's starting today with his 3 men in back, it's perhaps the mightiest offense in the world right now. I'll let you know what type of coach he is.
Well, he's definitely putting his mark, his personal coaching philosophy on this team. Steve's never been one to play a defensive style soccer.
Bill Shane, Renato Capobianco, and that score on your screen is not a misprint. The United States leading Argentina 2-0. The Argentines with Daniel Passarola tossing out a lot of substitutes here today. But there are some starters. Roberto Ayala in the back, starting the first game for Argentina as the ball lifted in by Acosta, still free. Lawless, Acosta, and the Argentine whistles it wide. Starting the first game also, the 2 men in the midfield, Hugo Perez Marcelo Gallardo, obviously, Batistuta the starter. This is still a very potent team, and a team with the substitutes who have come on were fighting for playing time. They might actually have a reason to play harder than the guys they're replacing.
Absolutely. There's no such thing as a weak Argentinian team, and these players that are playing right now that normally sit the bench for Argentina have something to prove not only to themselves, but the fact that they are wearing the Argentine national jersey.
5 minutes from halftime. Who would believe the U.S. leading 2-0 as Wallace picks it off near midfield, nearly gives it up. Hard tackle by Joe Max Moore. Haven't seen much of him lately. Not quite expecting the return pass, however, but the U.S. continues to pressure. Near midfield, Ronaldo slides. The ball up, intended for Espina. Knocked into the air by Wallace, back towards midfield, and out of danger briefly. The 22-year-old Ayala. From River Plate to Parma in Italy will be quite a difference. Buenos Aires might be a continental town, perhaps, but when you move to Italy, you have reached the top. Stewart. Clopas, first goal scored. Ball taken off his boot. Pushed to the side. Legitimate shoulder charge, says the Brazilian referee, and play on. Pushing it forward to Acosta, getting it back, and they'll lay it off. Fabry taken down. They'll let it roll all the way back to Casey Keller and shoot on the clock. This has got to be beyond Steve Sampson's wildest dreams. He was probably looking for a goal, probably looking to attack, but 2-0 at halftime against the defending champs.
I have to ask you, Phil, probably Alexi's going to be asked at the end of the game, what were you thinking trying to finish off a Kobe Jones cross? Aren't you supposed to be in the back?
I have a feeling the Latin Americans not quite used to seeing the big redhead. He was probably expecting a true cross in the air. Instead, he hit a mistake and hit it off his foot. Jones trying to send it through. In fact, his first goal off of his boot as a U.S. player. Everything else has been off the head. And I guarantee you we'll probably write a song about it. Jones taken down hard on the near side. Consultation on the near side. Player getting set to warm up. Tab Ramos on the near side. Who would he come in for? Once again, a hard tackle early on Thomas Dooley, but I don't know if you'd bring Tab in. The cross, far side, intended for Ronaldo. He slides, misses, and it's out towards the far side. Ayala setting up the right touch for Argentina. Once again, the U.S. front, their Argentinian attackers not giving them a chance. We had the chance yesterday to see a similar performance. The Brazilians against the Colombians. That's what happens when the offensive player expects the challenge and you don't conclude it. An opportunity with a lot of green in front of you. The U.S. back. The captain Espina bringing it to the right foot. Dribbling from the left to the right. Down to the corner, the near side. That's sure. Crossing it in with the left foot. It's headed clear. Once again, Caligiuri. Up to Clopas. 2 minutes from regulation in the first half. There has been some injury time. Maybe about a minute to be added. Kobe Jones trekking down the left wing. Maybe they haven't heard of him yet. Does break free, and he's taken down as he heads towards the end line. He had the chance for the cross with Eric Winalda in the middle, and this should be a card, and it will, as Jones continues to try and catch his breath on the ground in a hard tackle. Espina, no? Looks like it might be Altamirano on the far side. Hard to see through the fog. Kobe Jones up slowly. Altamirano drawing the yellow card. Second against the Argentines. Sure, drawing one earlier for a hard tackle. Once again, injuries can play a key role. Marcelo Balboa is already on the bench. One of Steve Sampson's wild cards has already been used as Mike Burns on defense. Ramos had been warming up on the side. Winalda getting set to kick it in, kind of like a short corner. Low, driven towards the near post. Batistuta bats it away at the edge of the area. Winalda continues to spin away, trying to find the location where it will eventually land. Continues to chase down. The ball eventually coming to the near side. Gallardo, guarded by Dooley. The U.S. has done a very good job in midfield defense, trying to shut down the avenues before the Argentinians can take advantage. 30 seconds from time. Batistuta, or actually, that time it looked like it might be, in fact, Acosta held up, and it will be a foul against the U.S. Their 10th. Gallardo coming over, wearing the familiar number 10. similar build. But the age of 19, and he still has a lot to prove. Pulling it in high towards the far post, and Keller coming out to punch it out. It goes over the bar on the header, and Dooley gets up a little slowly. Keller mistimed it a little bit, and the Argentine sent it over the bar.
There, Keller kind of caught with all his weight on his heels. Acosta was able to come up there. Watch here, Casey's first step was back, unfortunately, and he had to readjust. That's why he was a little late trying to clear that ball.
Fifth shot of the game for the Argentines. The U.S. only have 3, but they have scored on 2. Not a bad percentage, Mr. Sampson. Kobe Jones hard in defense. Dooley slides and up slow again. Espina down the near side. Gallardo banging it off of Jones. Continues to fight for it. And the hard tackle by Dooley. Into the middle. They're going to say it went over the sideline. It'll be a throw-in for the Argentines. Ronaldo couldn't keep it in. We are into injury time. There is not much left. The U.S. with a 2-0 lead as we near halftime. Sure. Hard tackle from behind. This one on Kobe Jones. And this will be a yellow card on Jones. Apparently, a sale on 6-packs. The referee's dressing room. That is the 6th card already, and we've only played a half. 4 against the U.S., 2 against the Argentines. The message being sent by the red, white, and blue. Gallardo, once again, a familiar location as he sends the cross in. Deflected, and they're going to say Eric Ronaldo was not 10 yards away as it bangs off of him. Gallardo. Once again, the people taking the free kicks have a tendency of somehow just having to flip it down near the area, and it rolls 5 yards further. Curled into the area. Keller up high. Gives up a slight deflection, but there to pick it up. He intended to drop it down. Looked like he could not grab hold, and still no Argentines anywhere near. Jones with that yellow card, as we mentioned, 4th against the U.S., but Keller once again taking control in the box.
I don't think Argentina is going to have a lot of success flighting high balls up into the box. If they have any success, they're going to want to hit a little flatter.
And that is the end of the first half. An unbelievable half of play for the USA. It's U.S. 2, Argentina nothing. Provided they can pick it up on the TV. Fabry trying to slot it down, the hard tackle. Getting up quickly, Mike Burns, who's had a pretty solid game since coming on for Balboa. Kobe Jones dribbles down the far flank and dribbles it over the touchline. It should be a throw-in for the Argentines, and it will be. Joe Max Moore, a little surprised to see him start, but he had been tearing up the German First Division. Or as far as his scoring touch, they have not yet needed it, as Alexi Lalas and Frank Klopp as the goal scorers. Sent in towards the area. Batistuta can't get there. Keller doesn't even bother to touch it. It'll be a goal kick for the U.S.
One thing Argentina is going to have to be very careful is that the United States has a lot of speed on the wings. You have Ernie Stewart on one side with Tab Ramos. On the other side, you have Kobe Jones. So counterattack is a viable method of going forward for the United States here in the second half.
Do they drop 4 players in defense? That's going to be a question. All the way down on the end, and Basio almost takes it over the end line. Would have been a corner kick. Joe Max Moore yelling at the lines. That is not John Hart's. Pass to the middle. Hugo Perez. Passing it forward. Ariel Ortega back to Perez, who looked like he might have tripped himself, but they're going to call it on John Hart. Maybe a slight flip of the cleats. And a free kick for the Argentines. Gallardo is still in there. Pushing it forward. Ayala, the youngster. He's now wearing the captain's armband again with Espina on the bench. The long cross, and it almost finds the back corner as Casey Keller slides into the net. If it was intended to be a shot, it almost went in the net. Looks as though they might have also taken out Escudero. A more attacking lineup as that one just missed. Opportunity carried away by Caligiuri, who has done a nice job in the middle with Balboa on the bench. Sent back up the other way by Fabry. Finds Gallardo into the middle of Simeone. He's the creator. Diego Simeone. Play for Atletico Madrid next year. The near side for Acosta, the 28-year-old, gets it back to Simeone, who almost loses it. He goes for the back post on the cross, but it goes over and out of bounds for a goal kick.
They're Argentina doing what I think they should do in order to try to be successful in the second half, is try to open up the defense and not try to go down the middle. Has been their criticism in the past that yes, they are very talented, but they are too predictable going down the middle every single time.
But you take a look at what the Chileans did. That's how they got their goal, with Rosenthal crashing in the middle between Wallace and Balboa. Take a look at Marco Echeverri. That's how he got his goal. Have to see what the Argentinians can do. Once again, they have numbers up front. Here's an opportunity to the far side. Batistuta loses his balance, and it's finally cleared away. I don't think Batistuta was pulled down. I think he expected a body on his back. It wasn't there, and he tripped. The near side, the pressure yet again, laid off by Gallardo. Batistuta. Ernie Stewart comes back in defense to take the ball away. The Argentinian crowd wanting a penalty kick, but a clean kick by Ernie Stewart, and the U.S. having an opportunity to counterattack. Johnny Harks sending it into the near corner, just a little bit too far for Tab Ramos, as it will bound towards the flag, kept in play.
And Phil, you hit the nail on the head, as it were, before, saying about the childhood buddies and Harks and Tab. They look for each other very much when they play together.
Near side, Simeone whistling it across the middle, and it's parried away by Caligiuri towards the near side, and into touch, throw in. Kind of like a ball return for Simeone. He doesn't even have to bend for that one. Pass back to Simeone. Batistuta lost his balance, gets it through. Lawless there to parry it away, bangs it off of Stewart. The U.S. holds on to possession on the near side. Joe Max Moore looking to do something. He has not had many opportunities in this game. As time continues to trickle down, the U.S. will probably retreat more and more into a defensive shell. Foul on Stewart. U.S. leading 2-0.
U.S. has to be careful here. They won't start going into their shell too early. Argentina is too dangerous a team to let them pound and pound away at your goalkeeper for 35, 40 minutes at a time.
Lawless trying to organize the defense in front of Casey Keller. Burns marking up, and Kobe Jones back in defense. The curling cross headed towards goal, but slightly wide. Batistuta there to watch it go over the end line, and it will be a corner kick for the Argentines. Gallardo over quickly to take it. The 19-year-old for River Plate. Right foots it towards the top of the area. The header! It is blocked off the line! It's blocked off the line by Mike Burns again. Reminiscent of U.S. Colombia, Burns has saved Casey Keller yet again.
As you can see from that angle right there, that was a clear goal. Burns once again coming through for the Americans.
Corner kick. Keller pushes it out. Still in danger, though. Batistuta in the middle, lays it off. The shot blocked away. Schurer had it. It will trickle across the sideline into touch, the throw in right near the flag. Hurrying over quickly, Acosta. Brad Friedel, the man in goal for U.S. Colombia. No, actually it was Casey Keller. The U.S. on the verge of winning the U.S. Cup in an injury time. A blast from Colombia. Headed towards the post, and Mike Burns was planted solidly as though he had taken root. Heads it clear. The U.S. ties Colombia and wins the cup. And once again, another strong defensive play from the maligned Mike Burns as he continues to show improvement. Far side, dribbling out of bounds, throwing for the U.S.
One thing I think we're going to have to count on here for the United States is, yes, everybody has to give a great effort, but we're really going to see the leadership of people like Thomas Dooley and John Harks. They are probably the most experienced players on this team, really taking their teammates through this second half.
Thomas Dooley will be a foul as he came from the side, but mostly from behind. Foul number 15 against the red, white, and blue. Nice move by Ortega. He forgot one thing, though. All the way back on the Argentinian side is 55 minutes in the books. Harksey with a little bit of space. The nice move, but he pushed it too far in front. Knocked off balance, but Joe Max Moore keeps it alive. To the near side, Ernie Stewart. He has not yet really used his speed. The pass off target. Tab Ramos. Back on the near side for defense. The crossover Stewart. Intended for Batistuta. Caligiuri almost hands it to him. And then bats it out of bounds for the throw. Simeone over quickly. The Argentines turning the pressure up. Diego Simeone, the 25-year-old midfielder from Seville. It seems like he's been playing forever. Gets the ball back. Past Dooley into the middle of the area. Trying to draw the foul on the edge of the box. Casey Keller there to pick it up. Acosta introducing himself to the referee, hoping he'll remember him the next time.
One thing Argentina seems quite successful in the first 10 minutes is making it very difficult for the United States to come out of their own half.
Mike Burns just stood there. Could have been obstruction at the edge of the box, but play on, said the ref. Into space. Ramos had slowed down. That's just enough for the Argentinians to take it away. Altamirano still in there. Here's Steve Sampson encouraging Tab Ramos. Ramos has not had the success that appeared to be his heading into the World Cup. Ernie Stewart losing his balance and tripping over Diego Simeone. The foul quickly restarted. Acosta has it down the near side for Simeone. Caligiuri over slow. Far side cross to the back post. The volley. Acosta. The deflection all the way on the outside, and Gallardo can't put it on goal, and it looks like that shot might have caught Thomas Dooley again. A yellow card coming. Who will this be on? Ernie Stewart. This is a delayed yellow card for that previous trip that the Argentines started quickly. Perhaps a deserved one on the hard tackle from behind. And Alexi Lalas exhorting his teammates, saying, come on. A 2-0 lead for the U.S., but that is not safe with Argentina having the ball.
There probably Lexi trying to urge his teammates on, saying, listen, this is the kind of crowds and pressure I've been playing against every single week in Italy, so let's bring it up a notch.
The 34-year-old Thomas Dooley still standing. It was actually Mike Burns who took it in the gut. Stopping a hard shot, and the U.S. down to 2 defensive players right now. Dooley and Hartz will probably drop back. The curling cross, top of the box. It's loose outside the 6, all the way to the near side, and tracking it down, Acosta. Alberto Acosta, the 28-year-old forward, sends it back in for Keller, who skies for the ball. And as you mentioned in the first half, there are better ways to beat Casey Keller than in the air.
Those type of balls for any goalkeeper who happens to be tall are very easy to intercept.
You saw Mike Burns in the background, perhaps, trying to catch his breath and any other body parts that might have fallen off. Joe Max Moore forces the turnover across the end line, a corner kick for the U.S. And this is perhaps where Steve Sampson's presence has changed almost every moment. An attacking style, never give up, always go forward. And Sampson, you could see the breath. As the temperature continues to drop, the Argentinians continue to support their favorite team, but the U.S. right now leading 2-0. Ronaldo blasts it towards the top of the area. Lalas gets ahead on it, but can't direct it towards goal, towards the near side. Not enough on it to go out of bounds, and Acosta turns it back upfield for the Argentines. Nice move by Ortega to come to the inside, and a hard tackle by Dooley coming back. Cleared away by the U.S. and into space, a chance for Ronaldo. He has Joe Max Moore on the inside. Does he get a chance to use him? Tries to move to the inside, lays it off for Joe Max, but a little bit too far. Here's a chance. A goal! Ronaldo! Joe Max Moore pressuring, and the ball comes free. Ronaldo scores. It's 3-0 USA.
And that goal should be credited to Joe Max Moore. Excellent pressure there provided by Joe Max. Even though he couldn't get the ball, he pressured the defender into giving a bad pass, and Eric Ronaldo there being ever so the opportunist.
His third goal of Copa America, as he is now tied for the second leading goal scorer in the tournament with Gabriel Batistuta. A hard-fought goal as Ramos sends it across. A beautiful play by Ronaldo cutting into space. Joe Max Moore giving an opportunity for a pass. He lays it off, and as you mentioned, Joe Max just pressuring and forcing the ball in front of the net. Tackling the youngster Ayala, who learns a lesson from the UCLA grab the header, and it's just wide, as Keller might have gotten a finger on it. Batistuta looking for the corner.
Right there, that is a goal that Joe Max Moore created, not being able to get that ball fully, but not making it easy for the defender. And actually, Joe Max got a little bit on it. Eric Ronaldo right there to finish it off.
4-0. Mexico 2-1. Chile. Much of the success in the international press somewhat tempered by a 1-0 loss against Bolivia. It is 3-0 against the Argentines. And the U.S. continues to pressure. Dropping it back. Hark sending it down the side. Touched inside. Ronaldo has the opportunity. The back heel flick. The shot. And it's saved by Basio. The U.S. continues to pressure. Steve Sampson's crew does not know the meaning of the word quit. Kobe Jones back on defense. Pushing it forward. The ball a little too high for Gallardo to handle easily. He'll send it to the outside. Cross towards the 6-yard area, sent high in the air as Mike Burns back on the pitch. It has not been an easy game so far for the United States, but they are earning fans, they are earning the faithful, they are earning the commendations that were bound to come. Curling it in towards the top of the box, the Argentines continuing to try and press. Nice move by Burns. He cut across with the opportunity to move upfield. Slots it to the middle. Perhaps some space. Joe Max Moore passing it to Ronaldo. It's offsides against the U.S. The United States now with 5 goals for, 2 against. That's a margin of 3. The Argentinians at 6-4. The United States would win the group if this stands true. The United States, on the verge of elimination from Copa America 95, is now on the verge of winning the group and moving on. Pass to the near side, but it's not over with these guys. Still one more substitute for Passarella. A bit of a pushing foul. This one will go against Acosta, and a free kick for the U.S.
I can just see the headlines in Uruguay tomorrow. Buffalo Bill leads the U.S.
The headlines in Uruguay, the headlines in Buenos Aires, the headlines in London, Paris, and beyond. In fact, many would argue everywhere but in the U.S., but that might change as well. I guarantee with 3-0 result against one of the best teams in the world on the road, this might be the biggest road win ever.
As great as the result is right now, the United States cannot forget what happened in Copa America just 2 short years ago.
In fact, it was right about this time that Jose Luis Dolgueto and the Venezuelans, the sacrificial lambs, Copa America for the past 6 tournaments, faced a 3-0 deficit and turned it into a 3-3 tie that kept the U.S. from advancing. The same thing might happen here. And this Argentinian squad saw 2 goals in 7 minutes. Imagine what they could do in a full 90, and that's what they did against Chile. 4 goals. However, the U.S. has played hard. The shot grabbed by Keller on the near post. Maybe not with that man in net.
Casey Keller definitely showing his experience. A wicked shot there, low. Able to get to it, no problem. Shot by Hugo Perez.
We've talked about this result and what it might mean for Steve Sampson, and in my mind there is no doubt that Steve Sampson will get the job as U.S. national team coach. Number one, because of the lack of other candidates that might be out there, but also the fact that the results he has turned on have been some of the best. The other thing, though, might be Casey Keller right now. What might he be earning from Steve Sampson?
Not only that, I think, Phil, who knows, maybe Steve Sampson's going, wait a minute, I want to see what other offers I may get.
No, Bolivia might be looking for a new coach soon. Pass him down the left flank. Gallardo cuts to the inside, runs into his own man, gets the shot off, and sends it whistling wide. He might have had an opportunity, but Ortega there looking, decides to let it run, and Gallardo, that one split second, perhaps took away the opportunity.
Ortega not missing those type of opportunities often. Maybe a little bit of frustration starting to show now for the Argentines.
How much has happened in 2 years? The U.S. 3 and out. The U.S. into the second round in Copa in the World Cup back in 1994, and right now on the verge of winning Group C in Copa America 95. Should that hold true, the winner of Group C ends up playing the first third-place team. You know who that would be? Mexico.
A little love lost between those 2 teams.
Kobe Jones. Throws it down the right wing, and it's headed back. Gabriel Schur, the 23-year-old defender, sending it back towards Gabriel Batistuta. Lopez claiming the elbow, but instead will get the foul. 16th foul against the United States in this contest. It has been a hard-fought physical battle. But to this point, the United States has done everything and beyond the expectations. Whistles ball. As exiting the field, Alberto Acosta, and entering it, Abel Balbo. While Daniel Passarella did not want to risk injuring any of his key players, he did also not want to be embarrassed. Headed back into space, and Lawless, the other member of this Italian troika, blasting it back across midfield. Who would have thought that Passarella would have been forced to keep Batistuta on and substitute Balbo in an effort to try and regain some credibility?
Well, being substituted in a game like this, players like Espina and Acosta does not help the confidence at all. They just didn't get the job done against a team that they were supposed to handle, and now I don't think their confidence is at a very high level.
Valbo knows what he has to do, and he has not had an easy cut. That is through trying to backheel it to his Italian mate. Wallace has his pocket pick. Simeone cuts inside. Mike Burns. Calm, cool, collected play of a veteran player.
There we saw Burnsy not diving in. Simeone was waiting for Burns to dive in on him. Burns held his ground.
Hard tackle. Knocked out of bounds by Dooley. They'll move back 10 yards and do it again. Fabry throwing it in. Intended for Ortega. He moves down the line. Double teamed. Passes it to the inside. Now they'll swing it back to Altamirano. Altamirano on the left foot. Towards the far side. And it's banging off of Johnny Hartz and cleared out of danger by the U.S. A foul near midfield. And Steve Sampson screaming for the card. Ayala. The 22-year-old youngster will be playing next year for Parma, now wearing the captain's armband. Yet again, near side for Simeone. Dropping it back, Ortega. Nice move to spin away from Joe Max Moore. Still one substitute left for Steve Sampson, should he elect to use it. Towards the corner of the box, the near side, Simeone. He is ever dangerous, blasting it in front, top of the line. Knocked down, the shot on goal, and right there, Casey Keller. That is Thuta electing to pass on the shot, lays it off, a beautiful pass to Schur, who volleys it straight into the chest of Casey Keller. Remember how the press was talking about 3-0 Brazil over Colombia last night? Imagine what they'll be saying today. Ernie Stewart on the near side. The U.S. a 3-0 lead. Down the flank, Hart can't control. It's all the way down to the corner. Ayala will let it run over for the goal kick. I don't know if I've ever seen this U.S. team play with as much confidence as they have over the past 2 months. Bora taught them how to do it, and now they know they can. Lawless skying high to head to Hart. She'll drop it back. Might have been a little bit of a mistake by Hart, but the U.S. dodges the bullet. And Hart steps in front, drawing the foul. A free kick. Passarella lighting up another one.
And right there we see something that we normally don't see out of the American team of the past. Playing it out of the back safely, being able to pass it, support, getting out, looking forward.
Daniel Passarella, part of the perhaps greatest Argentinian team. Near side Ronaldo, he has Ramos behind and will try and use him. Ramos standing still, however, and it's picked off by the Argentines. They'll move it back up to Simeone. Passarelli, Campos, Ardiles, a young Maradona. One of the greatest teams of all time, and he cannot like seeing what he's seeing tonight. This perhaps the first blemish in the Passarella era as coach. Nice move on the far side. Taken down. Acosta. It will be a foul, and Thomas Dooley up complaining again.
Oddly enough, we've not seen Acosta down the wing as much as I thought we would with his dribbling ability, taking men on. He's kind of drifted into the middle, running into more and more defenders.
Batistuta for trying to free himself. Climbs high in the air, but the header comes back out. The back heel flick, and there's two blue jerseys there, and Mike Burns, a calm, composed move to swing it to the far side. An opportunity. Eric Winaldo with Joe Max Moore in the middle. He'll have a one-on-one marking. Moore slips, the pass to the middle, and just off target. Looks like Tab Ramos cutting in. Winaldo, though, a nice opportunity. Coming back for the ball yet again as the U.S. continues to keep the pressure on John Harkes. This would have to be one of the biggest results in his career. Obviously, the victory against Colombia might have meant a little more because of the World Cup. But this an older tournament. Poor play by Burns. Comes back, though, to win it. Nice move by Burns. Saving a goal on the line with yet another header. And he has played a solid game in defense after coming on for Balboa. But moving forward with numbers, Gallardo and the Argentines. 5 striped jerseys in the box and a pocket pick yet again. The offense has been spectacular. The defense has been sound. Kobe Jones loses it, however. Schur on the far side tries to left foot towards the spot. Blasted away by the U.S. defense. Down the line. An opportunity for Joe Max Moore. Double team and sends it to the middle to space. Kobe Jones cutting in. Has it on the left foot. Will tuck it to the near side for Eric Winaldo. Man marking as he brings it back to the right foot and lifts it across. Just over the head. It'll go for a goal. kick.
One thing we're seeing there, the tremendous amount of respect the Argentine defenders are giving Eric Ronaldo. They're not just charging in on him because they know he's very good on the dribble. This is allowing the American team to get players up and try to finish across.
Eric Ronaldo has not had a good year. Obviously, many people remember the 1990 Cup, which ended very early with a red card ejection. Ronaldo getting injured this past year after moving from Saarbrücken to the Bundesliga with AFL Bochum, and he did not score a goal. And after a relatively disappointing personal World Cup, despite that one goal against Switzerland, 3 goals in the Copa America, right up there among the Golden Boot leaders, and he is driving his values straight back up.
Well, those in the soccer community who know Eric Ronaldo know he will never lack for confidence in his own ability.
Pass for Gallardo. Is that a compliment?
Yes, very much so.
Taken away by Simeone. He swings it back to Gallardo. Gallardo. Nice move. He's tripped inside the box. They're going to say play on. The Argentines call for another penalty. In fact, it looks like a war of words continuing. You don't know what Caligieri screaming at the referee. Gallardo pushing and shoving. Ernie Stewart, Caligieri coming across and perhaps dragging the leg, and it could have been a yellow card, and perhaps Caligieri screaming about a push before, and he just drew a yellow card. Actually, Alexi Lalas, a little surprised it was Caligieri who was having words.
I think that graphic's got to be wrong because Alexi's already gotten 1 yellow in the first half, so it's got to be to Caligieri.
No doubt about it. Joe Max tracking down. He has taken Ronaldo's place at Saarbrücken and lit the German First Division on fire. Ramos, the nice touch, gets the return pass. This is also the advantage that you start to see with this U.S. team. Ramos, however, blasting it out of bounds, electing to allow the defense to drop back. Some nice touches in the midfield before Ramos lost it. Gallardo also getting yellow, as perhaps that's what it was, a war of words between Gallardo and Caligieri. 100th cap, a huge win right now for the U.S. as it stands. U.S. player down behind the play, and on the far side, Kobe Jones looking for space. The Argentines drop back, all the way back to Basio. And the 21-year-old keeper has been burned 3 times tonight. Starts it back upfield. 6 yellow cards against the Americans, 2 against the Argentines. The Americans do not want to risk losing someone in their quarterfinal match.
No, they already have 2 injuries sitting on the bench.
Mike Sorber also did not start.
And Balboa. Who knows if and when they're going to be back. So the United States wants to keep everybody on the field.
Lawless. You can tell you started to draw a little bit of respect from the official, but you can get away with a push like that. Nice lift into space, however. Stewart backing up and stepping in between. Altamirano towards the far side, headed clear by the defense. Not out of danger yet, though. Have not seen much of Balbo as he's on the near side. They can't get the pass to him. Slowing it down, Ramos to send it back. As you mentioned, the counterattack ability of this speedy U.S. squad. Too much on it, however.
Right, we're seeing one of the American players at James' position that had been playing outside. Mike Burns had been playing outside. Because of the injury to Balboa, he's been found to play his natural position, which is the center in the field. You've seen a couple of times he seemed to be quite confident playing in the center of the field.
It has been a very solid game for Burns, for Caligieri, for Lawless, for Ronaldo. The accolades will not stop, and also for Casey Keller, who's kept this game scoreless. Kobe Jones on the far side, trying to dribble past Gallardo and blows past and puts into overdrive. Tries to get past the last defender. Pushing foul from behind. It'll be a free kick for the Argentines as Nestor Faber draws the foul. Smart play by the experienced defender. Still hard to believe. If you just tuned in, they did not reverse the score line accidentally. The U.S. scoring on Eric Ronaldo's goal to start the second half of play to take that 3-0 lead. Frank Lopez on a deflection in the box, giving the U.S. an early lead, which they added on to with Alexi Lalas. The back heel flick in front of a crowd in the net on a cross from Kobe Jones, who helped also set up Lopez's goal. Hard tackle by Thomas Dooley, and the experienced veteran wins the ball back for the U.S. Joe Max Moore better watch out. That's one thing the U.S. is going to have to worry about as time starts to run down. Time becomes more precious because the Argentinians won't give you much time to get rid of the ball. We've talked about this throughout the tournament, Renato, but a 2-0 lead can be very dangerous. You start to perhaps get lulled into a false sense of security, but 3-0, that's the lead a coach likes, because you can start to breathe a little bit. If the other team scores, you still have a little bit of leeway to try and turn the batteries back on.
Well, most importantly, a 3-0 lead gives a team a certain amount of confidence in their playing ability throughout the game.
Simeone in the area, sky high in the box, Lawless, and Keller loses it, fighting with Balbo, and sneaks past him to grab it, just about 17 yards away from the pipes. Balbo, a quick nod of recognition towards Keller. What has Casey Keller done to try and cement a job as the starting keeper? Will the alternating continue in round number 2? And will Brad Friedel, the new Sunderland keeper, if the paperwork goes through, be back in the nets? Or has Casey Keller done enough to win the job single-handedly? That's one of the questions as Ernie Stewart breaks in, pucks it towards the far side, but getting back just in time to try and block away Acosta. Tab being exhorted by Steve Sampson to get back in defense. The U.S. already with a 3-0 lead. 13 minutes away from heaven. Stewart breaking in. Almost had the chance to tuck it in far corner.
And there, Nestor Fabri doing an excellent job of getting his foot in at the very last second, denying a clean shot for Ernie Stewart.
And the U.S. has done this defensively without Marcelo Balboa. That's the most amazing thing. Into the middle once again. The pressure of the U.S. forwards almost winning the ball back, but slowing the Argentinian attack in their own side of midfield. Now they'll swing to the near side, and Diego Simeone. He might not get as many goals as the two counterparts up front, but almost all of the action when you get close to the box runs through number 8. Played for Seville last year, will be transferred to Atletico Madrid, and a nice chunk of change will be left in his Christmas stocking. Far side, Perez swinging it into space, coming up from defense. Sure, cuts inside his defender, gets past another one. The right footed shot pushed above the bar by Keller. He did it again.
Great shot there. Gabriel Schur showing a great piece of footwork there, keeping his balance with 2 American defenders on him.
The corner kick was forced, and Lawless blasted out. Should be a head ball unless they're going to reset the corner. Once again, Mike Burns planted to the near post. Just stay there, Mike. Gallardo headed up into the dangerous area, and it's blocked off the line again. This time, Kobe Jones. When Casey Keller can't get there, his defense can. Simeone denied at the back post. Textbook soccer right now from the Americans. In case you ever wondered why they had 2 guys standing at the posts, you've learned twice tonight.
Absolutely.
Once again, resetting the situation, the United States, a 3-0 lead, would win Group C if this score stands. The Argentines just need a single goal to turn that direction the other way. Should the score remain 3-0 or 4-0, shall we say, the United States would take on the best third-place team as a foul near midfield, and they'll head back the other way. The U.S. would take on the best third-place team, which at this moment would once again be Mexico. And a yellow card to Thomas Dooley. Yellow number 7 against the U.S. They're going to have to start putting on some substitutes to catch some of this card.
Well, I think all the players know that the yellows don't carry on, so every player walked on the field today knowing they have a yellow to give.
Sliding it into space, Fabry. They'll swing it back again. Once again, should the United States give up a goal, they would still have 6 points. They would finish second in Group C. The second-place team in Group C plays the top team in Group B. That would be Brazil. You don't want to face Brazil, especially after having such a wonderful game against Argentina, to have to try and turn around and do it again just 3 days later. One of the U.S. players injured, but they'll play on the far side. Keller trying to block the near post. They will whistle it. A delayed foul or offside? It's offside. The U.S. dodges the bullet. Can't quite tell. It looks like Dooley might have gotten elbow to the head, and that looks like it might have been Simeone on the far side, one of the more physical players. Good offside. Batistuta trapped. Gallardo passing into space and a slide tackle from Dooley. They're going to say a foul yet again on Thomas, coming up, points up, and he cannot believe the Brazilian referee. He already has a yellow card, a smile on his face to try and avoid another one. If there is one player you don't want to lose, it's Thomas Dooley. He might not have had a great World Cup, but he anchors the defensive side of the midfield.
He is definitely your most experienced players. Not only that, but in big game situation, he's the one that's going to hopefully provide the leadership.
A three-man wall. Harks, Stewart, Joe Max Moore, Ramos dropping back. Batistuta and Gallardo. They expect Monty Gold to take the shot. Simeone trying to force his way in, and Harks saying, come on, buddy, buy a ticket. Gallardo on the left, Batistuta trying to line the wall up. When the referee blows his whistle, they will play. Gallardo tries to lift it over. And the Argentines do not agree with that selection.
No, and as the Brazilian fans will let the Brazilians know, the Argentinian fans are the same way. They expect a lot of things from the national team, and right now the Argentines are not delivering.
At the same point, from Passarella's perspective, from the Argentines' perspective, from Batistuta's perspective, the U.S. is probably going to win this game. This game really means literally nothing to the Argentines. Why not give the 19-year-old a crack here? Batistuta, I'm sure, if this game was for the championship, would have been the guy taking that shot. At the same point, it goes high and wide, and the goal kick from Casey Keller, picked up yet again by the Argentines, who keep the pressure on. The fog continues to set on Paysandu as the U.S. continues to hold a 3-0 lead and continues to be whistled for fouls. Harks on the far side. As Burns has slid to the midfield, it looks like Harks might have slid to that right back position. Curling it in towards Casey Keller, who comes out to punch it away. Right off of Batistuta's head and is back out towards midfield. The U.S. playing 11 men back. A Catenaccio with a 3-0 lead. Ayala heading it high in the air. The header to Joe Max Moore. The U.S. looks for a counterattack. Nice movement to swing a free. Ernie Stewart, Eric Winalda. As Sampson yells forward, he's not satisfied with 3. Although most likely he just wants to get the ball as far away from his own goal as possible right now. And a nice movement by Paul Caligiuri to break into the midfield, his 100th cap in a solid game as he has been forced to take over a sweeper position with Marcelo Balboa injured. An opportunity for Kobe Jones breaking down the far side. He can drop it back and does not quite put it on target, but the deflection on the cross bounces across the end line. It will be a corner kick.
And Kobe very smart there. If he touches that ball, he is offside. Decides to let it go at the last second, giving the United States a corner kick instead of being called offside.
Taking his time, moving to the far side. Staying at the near post for Argentina. Hugo Perez. Looks like it might be Winalda at the far flag. Actually, there he is in the middle. It's Tab Ramos taking the corner. Ramos curls it in, top of the area, headed away by Balbo. Back on defense. Gallardo. Looking for the pass. Instead, they try and lift it over. Caligiuri clears it back the other way. The U.S. dropping back quickly on defense. Vasio grabs it just at the edge of the area. Hard charging Joe Max Moore could not get there in time. Hugo Perez. Far side, sure. The 23-year-old back to the middle. Swinging it forward, and Balbo all the way back in midfield. He is not a natural midfielder. He's a goal scorer. And they'll try and get him back upfield quickly. Nice touch by Simeone into space, trying to draw the foul. Mike Burns would give the opportunity. Ortega did nothing other than hop in front of Burns and stop.
Never knew Ortega would wanted to be Olympic divers. You see here, all of a sudden his feet just stop working.
Nice play by Simeone. You have to expect this. This is what they try and do. They realize a free kick from this area is much more dangerous than anything he could have done, painted in the corner. Gallardo, he did not have much luck in the shot. Keller setting up the wall. Simeone on the inside. He'll try and obstruct. Curling cross, headed straight up into the air. It looks like it might have gone off the head of Balbo. Over the end line, and a goal kick for Keller.
Argentina has had absolutely no luck in dead ball situations. Free kicks going over the bar, you have someone like Balbo and Batistuta, haven't been able to get a clean header on goal so far, even though we've had 2 cleared off the line. Not the kind of performance you'd expect from Balbo and Batistuta. Those guys are normally synonymous with goals.
When you lead the Italian Serie A in goal scoring, number 1 and number 2, Batistuta and Balbo, you normally do not get overshadowed by Alexi Lalas of Padua, but he has done a very good job along with teammates Mike Burns, Paul Caligiuri, shutting down defense. Simeone cutting to the inside, right foots it in towards the spot, cleared away by the defense, and a nice tuck. Looks like Joe Max Moore pushing it over to Johnny Harks. Harks cannot free Eric Winalda, however, and the Argentines come back the other way. Into the middle, they'll get to Simeone. Quickly on him, Johnny Harks. Hard tackle and winning the ball away, play on. The U.S. is playing with grit and determination as they continue to try and tick this towards injury time, a 3-0 lead. The victory against Trinidad and Tobago some 5 years ago that put the U.S. in the World Cup 1990 was arguably one of the biggest on the road. Obviously, the victory in the 1950 World Cup against England will also ring true, but 3-0 in Uruguay against the mighty Argentines is near the top of the list. The foul against Perez, the free kick for the U.S. Nice move by Stewart. Yellow card against Perez for the cheap foul. Ramos trying to dribble his way back in the corner through 2, gets the throw in.
There, Hugo Perez showing a little bit of frustration from that yellow card.
9 yellows tonight. As I said, there must have been a save. Nice flick back to Ramos, who has it on his left foot, tries to use the right. The ball still in play. Ramos still has it. Down into the corner, Ayala batting it towards his teammates and towards the near side. The U.S. pressuring in the corner. Not satisfied with a 3-0 lead, forcing the turnover. Harks taken down. Joe Max Moore cuts it to the middle. Almost had enough to get it to Kobe Jones, but it's turned away by the Argentines. Moving from the left to the right with purpose now. His time running out. Abel Balbo down the left wing. Back quickly, Caligiuri, or actually Lalas to try and stop him. Pushed into space, Lalas slides. Balbo has it, sends it to the middle, the deflection, and it goes across the goal mouth. Batistuta and Simeone a little slow. Balbo got past Lalas, but couldn't get the ball past Keller. Reaching into his wallet yet again just to make sure that he spelled the names right.
Okay. Second goal. Second goal.
I tell you what this loss does, assuming Argentina loses, whoever plays them in the next round,
which would be Brazil.
Which is going to be Brazil. You got to figure the confidence now, that a little bit more confidence they have playing against Argentina, who's just had maybe one of the most catastrophic defeats in the history.
The young Brazilian team had one of the biggest wins under Mario Zagallo, a 3-0 convincing triumph over Colombia just last night. The crowd continues to sing on, and Paysandu and the U.S. a 3-0 lead. Play has been choppy and sloppy here for much of the last 15-20 minutes, just the way the U.S. would like it. Anything to try and prevent an opportunity for the Argentines. Perez with the foul yet again. Joe Max Moore looking to start it. Instead, they'll probably have to bring it back to the area of the foul. The U.S. has held their own as we near 1 minute away from time. 1 minute away plus injury time. Ernie Stewart lifting it into space. Offside called on Thomas Dooley on the overlap.
And I tell you, every player on this team must be just ecstatic over this win. The 3 people I think really probably can save us the most are Caligiuri, Harks, and Ramos. I tell you why. They have been around when it was very thin times for the United States 10 years ago, 8 years ago, and every game was a battle, and they probably end up on the losing end.
Near side for Ortega. It's still not over yet, but it's all but. The pass in the middle, parried away by Alexi Lalas. Another of the New Jersey connection. The Rutgers grad, the Herman Award winner, the first American to play in Serie A, and this would have to rank right up there. Kobe Jones running in front of John Harks. The Kearney native pushing it forward to Jones, who is held. The ball rolls and still in play. Bonzio will pick it up. We have reached injury time. 45 minutes in the book in the second half. 90 minutes played. It's up to the referee now to end it. The U.S. has done their part. Clovis, Wallace, and Winalda.
Once again, we see there Burns is stepping up, showing the confidence he has in playing his natural position, which is in front of the defense.
Back to Fabry. 27-year-old has not seen many of these results in his long career. Altamirano to Simeone. Ortega gets the ball back to the near side. Simeone. Cleared away once again by the U.S. defense, and one near midfield by Joe Max Moore. They have fought hard for this. The whistles blow. They want the referee to end it. They want the victory for the United States. A nice opportunity to move into space for Kobe Jones. Kobe Jones dribbling forward. Joe Max Moore to his left, tries to out-dribble the last defender. Play on. 1 minute of injury time in the books. The referee looking at his watch. Continues to lift the ball near midfield, and that will do it! The United States has won! The USA 3, Argentina nothing. The U.S. moves.
Ya tenemos problemas. Recordemos lo que pasó el domingo pasado.